The tornado is closing in! Come on, Dorothy!
Hi, everyone. I'm front row Phyllis. The Tony Award winning Best Musical, The Wiz, is back, and you can catch it really for just a very limited time at the Nederlander Theater. And we are thrilled to welcome the Tin Man, also known as D. Jerome. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. So excited to be here.
This is awesome. Okay, can I just start out by saying that I love the Tin Man? He's like my favorite guy.
He's the number one guy. I mean, the stories are great. All of the characters and all of the heroes are great, but we love the Tin Man. He's iconic.
Right? He's our guy.
Yeah.
So do you love playing him?
Actually, I do. I mean, it's just like every night I'm like, they probably laugh at me because I take it so serious. I have my, pre-show sort of like set things that I do, my routine.
Okay.
And they're probably like, yo, he's probably in his, he's
In
in it
his
like
zone.
in his zone for real. I really take it, I treat it as an honor to be able to do it every night.
That
Yeah.
is. So what are like what's one or two things that you really love about the Tin Man?
Well, I think he's so cool because I think he's able to kind of like show himself coming back to life. So I think that's a part of telling that story that I love to know. Like I guess to be able to begin to move again. Like could you
Mhm.
imagine being stuck and like not being able to move and then you got to
Right.
get oil? You imagine having to fill yourself up like a car.
Right.
But like when you think about it, it's so cool to like bring his access my choreographic and dance skills in the 10 minutes. So I enjoy doing that every night. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
said two
So
things. I think something else actually singing the music. Yes.
yeah.
It's
It's
so fulfilling that those lyrics and the music and melodies.
for our viewers that have never seen the show. Tell them a little bit about what to expect.
Well, The Wizard of Oz is an iconic story, about
Right.
Dorothy. She gets caught up in this magical storm, and she lands in the magical land of Oz. She meets these characters and she needs to try to get home, and they go to see the wizard. But the Wiz is a telling through a more is a pop and soul culture, so an African American lens, if you will, just kind of an approach to that story in bringing some of our um, jubilant culture and like just costuming and just bringing the fashion and ballroom scene into it as well, especially with both iterations. The original show that debuted on Broadway in 1975, and then the movie adaptation also shows those nuances in the culture as well. So they can come and see that story. They'll see Dorothy with the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, and they will go see the Wizard. Eveline is their biggest, antagonist in this whole story. She's
Yeah.
not trying to let Dorothy get home. She wants those shoes because they belong to Evermean. So it's a whole story. People have to come out, but essentially, the story is about Dorothy realizing that everything she's looking for is already on the inside of her. She's looking for courage. She's looking to feel that love of her community, or if she, needs to know that she's smart and she has the brains, like the lion like the scarecrow who feels he doesn't have a brain. So
Right.
the story reveals that those things are already on the inside of us, and we just have to look closely at our community and our relationships to see that hey, I can believe in myself, and I can always feel that sense of groundedness and home. The iconic song "Home." Many know sung by Stephanie Mills, the original Dorothy, and Diana Ross as well in the film. So it's just a show about community, love, I think, and overcoming.
What's your favorite scene, whether you're in it or not?
My favorite scene is meeting the wizard. That's
Okay.
my favorite scene because of Alan Mingo Jr. himself.
Yeah.
But I also think my favorite dance scene is the Emerald City.
Yeah.
Um, the whole Emerald City dance scene. I'm not in that, so I'm kind of upset about that.
Right. You need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, tell them to put us in there real quick. We can get jiggy.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know what's so funny
yeah.
is that you've been in so many productions and you've also been in TV. So let's go back and talk to your 16-year-old self. What
Hmm.
would you say?
I would say don't be so scared, man. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it, man. They're gonna like it or they're gonna love it. or they're gonna
Right.
love to hate it. Who cares?
Right. And don't take yourself so seriously, right?
Yeah.
I
I
know.
totally would have. Yeah, I would have just said, hey, all of that love that you want to just exude and all of that joy you want people to feel and that passion, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, extend some of that to yourself. You can
Yeah.
have joy. Yeah, you don't have to always give it all away, but continue to. And that's the way you do it. So the more you give yourself grace, the more you lean into gratitude and joy. And I think you share that with your community as well.
Absolutely. You know what? So you touched on your day.
Mhm.
How long does it take you to get ready as the Tin Man?
The airbrush actually takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're stenciling it in with an airbrush. It's a really, really, intricate design by Kirk Cambridge, our makeup designer. And so he, does this thing, but it doesn't take him that long. Don't let me say that out loud. But it
Right.
takes about 45 minutes to assemble the Tin Man, all in all.
Wow. For the younger generation that wants to get into this business, what advice would you give them?
Go to school,
Hmm.
um, but treat it like a job.
Yeah.
And then I'd say, write it down. Habakkuk 2 and 2. Write the vision and make it plain. You have to write your things down and say what you want. And then if it doesn't come the way you think it does, look at the truth and the meaning of that and just keep going. And if something tells you that maybe I should try something else, actually try something else. Don't don't
Right.
be so prideful that, oh no, man, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna work. Well, maybe you're missing your cue to get
Right.
to the thing that you should be doing. And
Right.
also focus on your purpose.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
just premiered a new work that I'm working on. It's the title is Calling. I just premiered it at the University of Arizona in
Oh,
Tucson, and so that's a whole nother thing. But that I think people should find their purpose in life, and so that was a kind of like a small tell on my life and how I feel like I've gotten to my purpose somehow.
you guys have 8 shows a week and very, very, I mean, you're on 24/7. I mean, you really are. What do you do to come down from that when you're going home or get out of your head or, you know what I mean? Because you got to learn to relax, you right? You got to go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a mad artist like me, then you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm in between this time zone now and this time zone, so now when do I sleep?
Right.
But I think you everybody has their own thing, so mostly I'll play music on
Okay.
rotation, and even if it's like some turned up like hip hop, or if it's giving me a little bit of rock, if I want to get some soul rock steady, baby, that's how I feel now. Even if I just want to jam to get myself kind of out of the normalcy of like, oh, if I'm focused on something and then you get into like method acting and stuff, you're like, wait a minute, hey, come out of it. So I
Right.
write, I write other, I write my original music, or
Mm.
sometimes I'll, uh, plan for the future. So I'll probably like, oh, I want to wear a nice outfit to here. And so I'll just
Okay.
hone in on something else that will kind of help you like, let it go. But it is truly, sometimes it's a challenge for
It
sure.
is. Yeah,
And
because
the
it's a
8 shows a week,
long,
it's a lot. But
yeah.
we thank everyone for coming and supporting it. It is so amazing. It's such a great show.
It
Yeah.
is such a great show. And speaking of that, thank you again. We are so
Thanks.
excited. The Wiz is playing for a very limited time, March 31st through April 5th at the Niederlander Theater. And we
Can't
can't
wait.
wait to see you next
Thanks.
week.
We are the